welcome back to Historical People Interviews. I'd like to introduce you to our guest star, Christopher Columbus. Say hello.
Hello, I am Cristobal Columbus, and I sailed the ocean blue.
Yes, this is true. So now, Christopher, tell me a bit about yourself.
I was born in Geneva, Italia, in 1451. See.
Yeah. What about your father and your brothers?
Oh, mi padre, my father. He was a wool merchant, and I had two younger brothers as well in Geneva. Yes.
Well, what about your teenage years?
Oh, those were crazy. Those were crazy years. I decided to take a job on a merchant ship. On that merchant ship, we sailed the Mediterranean trading, but we were attacked by French privateers. During that time, I jumped off and floated to the Portuguese shore. And there, I learned the basics of astronomy, mathematics.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yes. Grazie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end there.
Oh.
After studying in Portugal for countless years, I started thinking about sailing my own ships. The problem was, during this time, people needed to get the goods from the east to the west so much faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the plan was to find a faster route to India.
Mm-hmm.
So me being the brilliant mind I was during that time of my young age,
Of course.
I decided to sail that way, west, instead of east around Africa like everyone else has been doing.
Interesting.
Yes, it was the unknown. I didn't know what to do. So I went to the Portuguese royalty. They were like, no, you have no hope. We have no hope for you. You're terrible. Don't follow this through. I left them. Then I went to the Spanish royalty. They believed in my creative aspirations and my adventurous spirit. So I joined them. They gave me the funding. And I went to the west, headed for India. And after 3.5 months of grueling sailing, I made it to land.
Wow.
Yes. And I will name that land Hispaniola.
Really?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, this is what is now the Dominican Republic in Haiti, correct?
Yes, I did not land in India, sadly. We just discovered a whole new continent. It was
Wow.
insane. Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you treat the Indians?
Oh,
Oh.
about that. Well, I sailed back to Spain after that. I'd rather not talk about that, but I sailed back to Spain after getting to the Americas. After going to the Americas. And right when I got there and I told the Spanish king of what I found, he sent me back in 1493 to go search for riches, gold, stuff like that. So when I went back to Hispaniola, it was completely devastated. It was destroyed. It got overrun by Indians. We didn't know what to do. So what I decided to do was to leave my two younger brothers in charge of Hispaniola while I go search for the gold and riches that I promised the king. But I didn't find any gold or riches, so I just went, got 500 slaves, and I gave it to the queen. She didn't like that, so I got in trouble. Sorry.
You're very dumb.
Thank you. But know this. I got to the Americas a third time, 1498. When I got there, my brothers freaking destroyed Hispaniola. It was in pieces, slavery, brutality, it was terrible. The king had to send a governor over. He was just mad at me, and I didn't know what to do. So he took away all my titles my noble titles, because I did such a bad job there. And yeah, he called me a failure, and eventually I went back to Spain, and he was just like, I'll give you one more chance. So then I sailed once again in 1504, and I made my way all the way up to Panama, but I didn't find anything there either. So when I came back, I died in Spain of old age, sadly.
Wow. That really sucks.
Yeah, I know.
So how did finding the America affect the world?
Well, finding the Americas, it just made during that time, it made all of Europe, specifically the French, the Portuguese, Dutch, the English, it just made them all realize what like there was to gain over there, and everyone just migrated over and tried to get their own piece of the land and stuff like that, and try to take over what I had found.
That must have been really terrible for the natives.
Yes, it must have. But one man's gain is another man's loss.
Not really. A while after you died, the global trade increased significantly.
Yes, it did.
So what happened there?
Well, I introduced Europe to the Americas, and trade between the eastern, which is Europe, and the western parts of the world, which is the Americas, became extremely active. So goods from the west were sent to the east, finding like new goods like corn or like silver, things like that. But in all the while, the east was bringing over their own culture, their own religion, their own literature, like educating and making the Americas up to their own technology and their own society.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you. Good night.